rainy morning. I'm feeling pretty painful today, so I wanted to talk about de-escalation because a battle I've had this year is trying to get people to understand that de-escalation is not just for the people we're scared of. It's not just to keep people from hurting us. It's also to protect the people in our lives who are struggling. People like me. I don't eat enough in a day for my body to not stop losing weight. And I can't afford the food I can digest. I drink teas from my garden, and I do my best. I try to cook, but oftentimes my stomach won't let me eat it. And that can make people like me grumpy. People who are disabled and in a lot of pain, especially right now with everything going on. Or people who are really fearful because they've lost family members in raids, who are desperate for help, and if we aren't giving it in a helpful way, it can be really infuriating. When you walk into a situation, it is not our job to look around and say, I know what you need. And I had to relearn that because as a caregiver for about 10 years, from the age of 13 to 22, I was a caregiver to my grandmother with Alzheimer's. She was my only grandmother that I really got to know, and the only grandparent I got to know. And my family, I grew up pretty conservative in Oklahoma and pretty religious. And so there was kind of that the burden of caregiving was put more on the women of the family than the men. And I became very angry with my grandmother. I was angry that she was forgetting me before she knew me. And my anger was rational, but it should not have been taken out on her. I should have had a support system so that way I could decompress somewhere and then be my best self when I was around her. I had to learn the hard way how to just hold that pain in, because I wasn't really allowed to feel that pain, and it ended up breaking my body down through chronic stress and PTSD, CPTSD. It wears on your body. And so the people who are struggling the most right now, their bodies are hurting just as much as their hearts are. We are being hunted down by our government, and then we are having our knees taken out by the people who are trying to help us. And that's not helping anyone. So I wanted to read a little thing that I wrote about de-escalation that I learned from being a caregiver, but then also being a disabled person afterwards, and having people try to caregive for me in the same ways that I first started to, and seeing the pain that it brought my grandmother. De-escalation 101. Number 1, we have to feel our feelings. We have to ground ourselves. We need to understand that the person that we are talking to is also feeling a lot of emotions that are not about us, but what is around us, what's happening around us. They need to be heard. Our words matter and have an impact that we cannot control. But that's okay. We have to make mistakes to learn. We also have to communicate. When mistakes are made, when people are hurt, we need to have a way to say, that hurt. And then for us to be able to communicate and mend that hurt before more hurt is caused. If we become overwhelmed, that's understandable. When we notice ourselves tensing, feeling frustrated, or only wanting to be heard, we need to back off. As kindly as you can, ask for a 15 to 30 minute break. And I want to stress that I make mistakes all the time when I'm trying to de-escalate others or myself. No matter the experience I have, there are always factors that I can't control. Factors in the other people, in our environment, and in myself. If I haven't eaten enough that day, I might say something stupid. And I can't just say, oh, well, I'm struggling, so you can't feel upset that I said that because, oh, I'm struggling. No. Their feelings are just as valid as our pain. And our pain is just as valid as their feelings. And when we keep trying to one-up each other, that's where things crumble. We always need to spend this break, that 15 to 30 minutes, doing something creative, playing a sport, doing a light workout, go on a walk alone, work in your garden, read a book, watch an episode of your favorite show, play a video game. Recenter yourself so you are able to be your best self during these difficult conversations. If you are ever unsafe during these talks, get some distance and move somewhere safe. De-escalating by removing ourselves from the situation. Sometimes someone is too volatile for us to de-escalate. And they're volatile because of us. Because of how we move, because of how we look, because of how we talk. And nothing that we say is going to change that. And that's when someone else who's also been working on de-escalation can step in, someone who's different, someone who might be more aligned with that person's views or that person's experiences. Because connection does not come from people pretending to understand each other. Connection comes from people who are suffering the same suffering, being able to comfort each other, and also for us to come together and say, look, this is our lived experience. It's not one person struggling. It's not one person just not living up to society's expectations. There's limiting factors that are making it almost impossible for us to survive. And again, I'm saying this as someone who struggles with communicating. I'm not saying this from my high horse or from some elite education space. This is just my lived experience from being a caregiver for about 10 years to now being sick for about 8. Debilitatingly sick. Like not able to work a normal job sick. Like not able to get groceries when I need groceries sick. Like nothing in the grocery store is edible because it all makes me throw up sick. A lot more people are going to be struggling soon, especially with SNAP going away. And we need to make sure that we have safety nets, not just financially and through food and shelter, but emotionally.